your vision is even better. All right, so we wanted to make this call because of the importance of money, right? I really do believe that the reason why people are really confused about it is because they've taught us not to talk about money. Has anyone ever heard that? Like, oh, we don't bring money up at the table. We don't bring money or politics up. We don't ask for, we don't ask how much something is, or we don't ask for a raise like that. So kind of same. And that's why I believe that people just, they don't have clarity. Someone without clarity is an organism in chaos, and an organism in chaos isn't working as effectively, as efficiently as it can be. So we're here to talk about it. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Nancy Aguilera. I've been in this space for about a little shy of 4 years, and I'm perpetually, infinitely grateful because ever since I shifted my relationship with money, everything else has kind of shifted too. So again, I'm perpetually grateful. And what we have for you today is going to be a presentation walking you through some key components, some key steps that I believe will shift your perspective. So I'm really excited to share that with you guys. And I'm going to go ahead and bring it up. All right. All the way to step one. No sneak peeks. All right, guys. So next to me or with me here too, we have Mike Navarrete. If you guys don't know him, well, let's hope that's not you. Let's hope that's not the case, because this is one of the top educators in the entire platform in English and in Spanish. So unless you're speaking like Japanese and you don't do Forex or DCX, then you probably don't know him. But they call him El Mago, because he does magic with money. He does magic with changing people's perspectives. And again, that really is key. So we're going to be going back and forth with these topics, and just so that you hear different perspectives, right? Because I don't want you just to hear what it is that I have to say. I want to be able to expand your mind with a different tone, with a different perspective that Mike can be giving you. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get started. All right, number one. Money is a game. You guys have heard the game of Monopoly. You probably played the game of life. They put it in plain sight. Money is a game, and the best thing that you can do is learn how to play it. They say that if we were to give equal quantity of money to every single person on this planet, it would probably still end up in the same hands. Why? Because there are certain people that have been taught how to play the game. Meanwhile, other people have been restricted from even knowing that it is a game. I forgot the person, but the person that created the public school system, he said in a public setting, and it's on YouTube, he said, I don't want a nation of thinkers. I want a nation of workers. And that's exactly what the public school system is. They don't teach you how to think, they teach you what to think, because that's the way that you can control the masses. So we won't have to get into that rabbit hole, but what I do want to give you guys is that perspective, that money is a game, and the sooner that you learn how to play it, the better you get at it, and the more money comes to you. So if you guys have ever played Monopoly, I played Monopoly with my dad, and he beat me every single time, because that's what he does in real life. He acquires properties and he knows how to do his thing. So that's the same thing in the game, the real life game and the board game. So money is a game, guys. The sooner you learn how to play it, the better you'll get.
100%, guys. And, one thing that we really wanted to talk about today, as you can see, the consistency behind what we're going to talk about is money. And our goal is for you to gain a new perspective, gain some new perception on what money really, how it works. And one thing that I really want you guys all to understand is I want you to approach this, right? I want you to approach money in a way that you never have. Now, this game that we're playing, right? You have to understand that you are now playing the game of money through the lens of an entrepreneur, right? You're playing the game of money through the lens of a trader, through the lens of as an investor, through the lens as someone who builds and leverages. So you can't keep applying the same rules that you applied as as an employee, as a self-employed. You can't apply those same things. It comes from a different standpoint. And it's not that, and being an employee is bad or anything like that. The reality is that how do you expect that the same rules that you're taking towards that to pay you here? It's the same reason why you can't approach money and expect it to pay you by the hour, by the day, by the week, by the month, by the year in a game that's very different. So I think one of the things that we get really stuck on is that we approach, our, whether it's your development as a trader, as an investor, or as a leader, you're looking to receive the same way that you were receiving before, but we're playing a completely different game. So those expectations have to change as well. And I think that's where a lot of the dissonance and some where the frustrations come from, is that you're used to a game which by the rules tell you that if the X amount of hours, then X amount of money. This game is not like that, right? This game is very, very different. And in this game, especially in entrepreneurship, it's more so based on experience over time, that which eventually will meet opportunity. And we'll talk a little bit about that later. But here, it's more like, I want you guys to think about it as you think about it as a video game. And in the beginning, you're gaining a lot of experience really fast, and you're seeing differences, right? You're seeing the way you think about things is different. You're starting to look at yourself a little bit different. But the further deeper you get into the game, the longer it takes to level up, the longer it takes to see the next result. And then, but the thing is that once you do see that next result, the result that comes is a lot more dramatic. So if we talk, let's bring this back to investing. When you're investing with $1,000, couple $1,000, the returns are, based on percentages. So you're seeing a couple $100, maybe let's say you double, cool, you'll see a couple thousand. Okay, cool. But as you go further and further, there's more weight to your money. So 100,000, okay, cool. Now your 10% is $10,000. Now your 100% is $100,000, right? And the weight is so much different. In regards to the business, when you're growing, your jump from P600 to P1000, you're gaining a lot of experience, and for a good amount of time, you're seeing your results are showing you stagnancy, but your experience is symbolizing growth. But we get stuck on looking at the result, and that's how we look at ourselves. You think like your mirror is the results, when your mirror really should be the progress and the time and the intention that you're putting into what you're doing. So that's why when you're focused on what you're actually, your input and your input and your input, all of a sudden you go from P2000 to P5000 and your income just 2.5x. And so that's the thing, is you have to understand, what game are you playing? And then so in this game, the rules are much different, right? The game of money is very, very different. And we're going to go into some of the things that the way we looked at it, and that allowed us to change the way. But all I'm saying is this, guys, if you're used to looking at money in one way, and now you're approaching this from a completely different manner, throw away the rules that you're used to. Throw away every single expectation that you had, because otherwise you're going to get stuck. You're going to feel like you're stuck more than anything. So look, guys, number 2, don't be a hater of money. Don't be a hater of money. Now, this is something that we can change. We can change this. Now, this is really stemmed from programming, right? This stems from programming. This stems from seeds from your past, seeds from people who are, maybe it could have been your family, could have been your parents who, as you were young, all you heard was complaints. There's not enough money. We don't have enough money. Money is a problem. Money is the root of all evil. Those are really common things that we hear all the time. So by nature, you look at money and you look at it in a negative way. How many people here, and I used to be this person, I was the person that would, see someone with wealth, see someone with a nice car, see someone with a nice house, and I had envy. And I immediately assumed that either, they had rich parents, that they came from money, that they probably, that someone was losing, that someone was on the losing end of that. And that's the only way that they acquired that money. And so that kind of energy, that kind of approach to money was the same exact reason that I didn't have any. How could I expect to attract money into my life if I didn't even respect it? How could I expect to attract money into my life if I was actually creating the opposite vibration towards it? Why would, imagine that if I'm always, if I have a negative or a bad relationship, if I hate, quote unquote, money, why would money want to come anywhere near me? So you may just not realize that this is how you think right now. That's the thing. You might be saying, man, I can't wait to get rich. I can't wait to have more, to travel, to do all these things. And these might be some things that you say, but your beliefs and what you say can be very different. Your beliefs and what you're thinking can be completely different. So I just encourage you to reevaluate. Could it be that I still have a lack or a scarcity mindset when it comes to money and the acquisition of it?
Yeah, totally, guys. As you sow, so shall you reap, right? So whatever energy you're putting out there, like Mike said, you're going to get that back. And here's the thing, you can't fake energy. You could pretend to celebrate somebody else, but unless that's authentic, it's the same vibration that you're putting out, just different words. So make sure that you're practicing good financial hygiene in a vibrational level, and you celebrate others, because what you celebrate accelerates. So if your homie just made X amount of money trading, cool, celebrate it. Because if you're surrounding yourself with that homie and you're doing the same thing, then you're likely to have the same results. And same thing, like Mike was saying, like I found myself being salty about, oh, she has this or she has that, but that isn't helping me in any way. It might be even distracting me. So it's taking me away from my end goal. It's taking me away from that result that I'm allegedly seeking. Don't let being a hater be a distraction. It's not getting you any closer. It's actually costing you more than it's doing you, for sure. All right, number 3. It's probably one of my favorites. You can't escape risk. Like, that's as simple as you can put it. We've read a book, U Squared, and we mention it a lot because it's a fire book. And he basically says, Craig Cricket says that you can think that you can try to escape risk, but there's a cost, an opportunity cost in everything that you do. So that whether you do or you don't, you're still putting something on the line. There is always something on the line. What you're doing is you're refining your skill of how to calculate your risk and how to make decisions accordingly. Example, we have the convention in West Palm Springs or West Palm Beach coming up. And some people might say, oh, that ticket is pricey. Well, it's going to cost you either way. In fact, it's going to cost you more not to go, because $300 is just $300. You'll probably spend it on something else. But not going is an opportunity cost, because by not going, you're actually risking not learning what you could have learned had you gone, or would you go? You're putting on the line who you could meet there, a network. You're putting on the line which you can learn there. You're putting on the line that breakthrough that you're allegedly seeking. You're costing yourself by not doing so. So you don't avoid a risk. You just learn how to calculate it. Same thing when it comes to trading and investing, right? When I tell people, oh, this is what I do, they're like, oh, but trading, isn't that risky? So long as you learn how to manage your risk, then you don't have to be afraid of it. You actually leverage it because you know how to make smart, intelligible decisions.
This is one of my favorites. Like, I absolutely love this concept, just because I just never looked at it this way. But I looked at my life in a similar way because of experiences. And, I mention this all the time, but skateboarding was one of the things that really had the most influence in my life by far, because it developed a really, really good, a really healthy relationship with failure. And it's the same thing with risk. I put risk and failure hand in hand. And when you approach everything, especially if for example, if you're skateboarding, you're always at risk of getting hurt. You're always at risk of failing. And when you're doing that, what happens is you've already accepted that pain is on the other side of what you want. You've already accepted that you like, okay, I either do this right or I will probably be in pain. But it's worth it because I'm developing, I'm getting one step closer every single time. And so you have to accept the fact that that's the case, but you're doing something understanding that the risk is always there, but I'm seeking the reward. And I'm okay if it doesn't happen because I know I'm one step closer. So when it comes down to risk, this is something that you have to absolutely understand. And one of the things that I like look at it is with job security. We think that we're avoiding risk, but you can never avoid it. You can absolutely never avoid risk. It's always there. It's always lingering. It's a lingerer, right? And so when you know that, then for example, let's say you have, let's say that you're employed. Okay. And again, this is not bad. People just assume that whenever people mention employment, it's just bad, but it's not at all, because employment might be what's funding your current, accounts, your investments. It might be what's opening up different lanes for you. And you might actually love what you do, or you might love what you do as a career path or as your job. However, I want you to understand there is risk behind being employed if it is not what you want. So for example, if what you want is time, if what you want is to experience the unknown of the world, if what you want is luxury, if what you want is currently not what you have, then what you're doing right now is the risk. What you're doing right now, you're risking the life that you could possibly have. You're risking, the vision, the dream, what's on that vision board. That's what's on the line right now. If you don't understand that, then you're almost pretending to believe that you're going to get there eventually, when that's just not going to be the case. So I'm not saying that what you're doing right now isn't great. It could be your passion. But if it's not, and you keep doing what you know, and you keep doing what you're comfortable in, then that's when you don't have alignment. So you have to understand the biggest risk of your life might be what you're doing right now. So you might be seeing a consistent check. You might be feeling like, okay, you know what? I'm not broke, right? Maybe I'm not lacking food, but the highest version of you might be what's actually missing. And it's not that it's even missing. It's just, it's not missing. You just haven't found it again, because it was there and it's always there. So that's the one thing that I really wanted to put that into perspective, is that you have to at least accept that. You have to accept it and you have to see it. Because what happens is risking everything, guys. If you don't take the trade, then you can't get the reward. If you don't take that investment, then you can't see the 10x to 50x, right? If you don't talk to that person, then you can't make that relationship. If you don't ask that person out, you can't explore what could be. If you don't go to that country, you'll never know what could possibly, it might be your favorite city, right? If you don't take that flight, you might never get to experience what you never understood, right? If you don't stay consistent, you might not have the freedom that you want. If you don't go and do your habits, then you're not becoming the person that's inside of you. If you don't plug in, if you're not consistent, your parents stay employed, right? If you're not doing certain things, there's always something at risk, right? If you're not diving into the unknown, then you don't have your freedom. You don't have your luxury. Your parents are in the place that they could be. So that's what you're accepting. You have to understand that you're always accepting a risk. Some of it just might be hidden. There's a hidden risk inside of comfortability. There's a hidden risk inside of things that you're very, very well aware of, that you've seen over and over and over again. So as soon as you just understand that, I believe that you will start to move differently. Now, number 4, seduce money. Don't let money seduce you. So what this means is the fact that you have the ability to attract money into your life. Now, what I mean by that is this. I've seen it oftentimes that there's the shiny object syndrome, right? The shiny object syndrome. You might see something, whether it's instant gratification, okay? Whether it's actually, I'm gonna go with that. Really, more than anything, it's instant gratification. There's things that you want now. There might be an easy way. There might be a shortcut, guys, that doesn't actually exist. You can't skip certain levels. You have to master the levels. Some levels just might come easier, but you can't skip them. You may see people dominate certain things and attract into life in a much more effective manner, but it didn't mean they skipped anything. They just already had the skill set. They already had the perspective, or they already were at that vibration. So how do you seduce money, right? You need to become highly attractive. You need to become very, very attractive as a skilled, whether it's an entrepreneur, whether it's a person of value. So what starts to happen? Every skill that you add on, like every skill that is added to your utility belt, that makes you more attractive. Every skill that you add on, that's like putting on a brand new shirt. Another skill that you add on, that's like getting a fresh haircut. Another skill that you get on, that's like you just got another new watch, right? Another new skill that you just added on, cool, you got a fresh set of kicks. Another new skill that you just put on, all of a sudden, right? You got a nice chain now. Another skill that you put on, wow, you have a radiant personality. Another skill that you put on, wow, look at that smile, that's $1 million smile. Another skill that you put on, wow, this person has the best attitude. Look at the charm that this person has. So that's how you become and start to seduce money. Every skill set, every attitude, every characteristic, the higher the vibration that you get on, money is begging to come into your pockets. Value is begging to come your way. People are seeking just to be around your proximity because you've now become this person. So the more skilled, the higher quality, the more value that you have inside of you, the more attractive that you become. And the law of attraction states, right? Who you are is what you will receive. So that's when money starts to come your way. You can't even stop it. Even if you wanted to, you've become this person where by law, money comes your way. By law, value comes your way. By law, good things happen. So that's really how you start to seduce money.
Big facts. Have you guys ever heard the saying, if you treat them like celebrity, they'll treat you like a fan? It's the same thing with money. If you put money on this pedestal and you make it seem like it's unattainable, then so it will be, and it won't chase you. And I think Mandy says it all the time. We don't chase, we attract, because what you're chasing is running away from you. So attract it. You need to be on the same vibration as it. Literally, I think it's Einstein that says, when you raise your vibration to the frequency that matches the reality that you want, you cannot help but get that reality. There is no other way. It's not theory, it is physics. So same thing. Change your vibration. If you want the designer, if you want the nice cars, if you want that XXX account, that's totally fine. But you need to be able to be that, and then do, and then you will have. Be the person first. Resonate on that frequency, that vibration. Do the things that that person would do, and you shall have that person. You shall have the things that that person has. Right? You need to be first. Some people get that mixed up all the time, but do not, like Mike said, do not let the shiny object syndrome get you, because then you're chasing. Then you're the one pursuing and not being pursued. All right, number 5. Are you guys getting value? Let me know in the chat if you are receiving some value, or if you're something is shifting in your mind, or you're like, okay, they're talking to me. Okay, perfect, beautiful. Just making sure we're not here. All right, number 5, preparation is key. Preparation is the highest form of belief. When you believe in something and then you put action behind it, that's called praxis. Rest in peace, Bob Proctor, but we learned a lot from his trainings. We are forever grateful for the teachings that he just always had. Like, this man studied vibration for over 70 years, goated. So preparation is the highest form of belief. And here's the funny part. People will call you lucky. I believe that luck is when preparation meets opportunity. When you've been preparing for something, i.e., right now, cryptos, when you're preparing, when you're in that preparation phase, in that preparation mode, and then the opportunity appears, you are already ready. There's no need to get ready. You are ready. You stay ready. So when you're in that preparation phase, you're telling universe, source, God, whatever it is that you believe in, this is what I'm going for. I'm preparing for it, right? You don't go to a restaurant and not eat. Well, I mean, I guess sometimes you could, but you go to a restaurant hungry. When let's say that you're taking an exam and you're studying, you're preparing for it. When you're going out with your friends, you get ready, right? Because you know what you're expecting. So same thing goes here. When you know what you're expecting and your level of belief is high, then you should be preparing, because you got to back up your belief. Otherwise, do you really believe? So we have to put some kind of action behind that belief to really put it to the test. Preparation is the highest level of belief.
Sheesh. Look, guys, when we talk about preparation, one of the best things that I can really give you as far as perspective goes is a lot of times we don't understand how prepared we are because the opportunity hasn't been there yet, or the opportunity has arisen, but because you weren't to the level of preparation that you needed to be, then that opportunity, you maybe didn't even see it. You probably didn't even know it was there. I've had plenty of examples of this situation, but one of the things that I really want to put into in front of you is this. And I really think this will help you feel different about where you're at in your journey right now. So, for example, right now, you may or may not be in what we call momentum. Now, this could be personal momentum. This could be in your trading account. This could be in your investing account, in your portfolio. This could be in your business. You may be at a point where you believe, wow, I really I don't understand why aren't things coming? Why isn't my account growing? Why isn't my team growing? Why am I not getting to a new level in my leadership? But here's the reality. You may not be seeing that opportunity. You may not be in momentum because you're being prepared for that to come. So you could look at it like this. I'm so grateful that I don't have momentum right now because I'm getting time to become that person. I'm so grateful that the 500 people haven't just joined my team, because now I can evolve into the person that can actually help and be of value to those people. I'm so grateful that the trading account that I desire is loading because it's giving me time to build that discipline. It's giving me time to add and contribute to the habits that will allow me to maintain that. I'm so grateful that I didn't get this big payout right now, because otherwise I maybe would have lost this kind of money because I'm not ready. So preparation is everything. At the same time, and this is really to spark your desire to gain skills and be prepared, there's a good chance that the conversation that you didn't have because you weren't prepared, there's a good chance that conversation that you didn't have, that was the person that was going to take your business to a new level. There's a chance that the trade that you didn't take, that was the 25-1 that would have changed your account. But because you didn't have preparation, you didn't know that was there. So there's so many opportunities that also you're not involved in and you don't even know it existed, but that's only because you weren't prepared to even realize and have the awareness of those things. So that's why when we gain skill sets, when we gain awareness, when we're around different types of people, that's when you start to realize there's a lot that's going around. There's a lot that's happening around me that I'm not even aware of. And it's because I'm not prepared. I'm not even prepared to be participating in these type of events. So how could I ever even imagine being in these events? We were out in what's called Design District here in Miami on Sunday. And I realized when we get there, we just happen to show up and there's this car show. Like it's called, what's it called? I don't know. There's this epic car show. And literally there's like $100 million in cars there. Red carpet outside. It was epic. But it was interesting because I was realizing, wow, I didn't even know this was happening. I wasn't even prepared to experience this event. And that's just a lot about how much more room my network has to grow. Because if I didn't even know this existed, how could I ever even be prepared to be involved in something like this? How could I be prepared to meet the type of people that would be at something like this? So it was really interesting to realize there's levels of preparations, there's levels of environment that I still have to attain. Because if having 8, 9, 10 figures and beyond net worth, and of being around the people that have high levels of influence, if that's something that's in your like vision, then prepare to be around those people. If you're right now thinking, wow, I can't wait to go to convention and have and meet Alex Morton, or Mike Miles, or Matt Rosa, or Mike Sotero, whoever it might be, if you're there to meet those people, but you're not even prepared to ask them the question that could take you to the opportunity, then what are you really even there for? So there's two sides of preparation. There's the hidden, there are the hidden opportunities that you'll never know existed because you weren't prepared. And then there's the opportunities that you're being saved for because it's buying you time to be prepared for. So look, I don't know about you guys, but my money's always having a good time. Like my money is just always having a good time. It's moving, is shaking. Some would say it's bussing, right? It's always moving. That's life. Movement, energy, dancing, jumping. So money doesn't like to be bored. Money does not like to be bored. Money doesn't want to sit in your bank account, because what happens? It gets stagnant. And what happens when you're not moving? You get fat. You get fat. And guess what? Fat money can't move. It's unhealthy. You don't want that in your life. You start to be susceptible to disease. So you have to get your money moving. Your money sitting in your bank account is actually losing you money. That money, it's so stagnant that it doesn't even beat inflation. So by your money doing nothing, it's actually dying. And you know what else dies? Everything that you want in your life. Because there's no movement, there's no energy. And money is energy. Money is a transfer of that. So get your money moving. You may think it's security, but all it is habitual thinking. You think, okay, if I have money in my bank account, then that makes me feel good. Oh, look, I have 1,000, I have 10,000 in my bank account. Nice, I'm getting somewhere. Yes and no, right? You do have, you're saving, which is great. But guess what? Saving, what are you saving yourself for? Like if your money's not moving and it's just being saved, it's because you don't have conviction behind your understanding and your skills. That's it. And that's why you're here, to be educated. I'm not saying like you should have $0 in your bank account and everything needs to be invested and you need to be like super broke right now. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is lose the fear, right? Lose the fear of investing. Lose the fear of having it move. Because if you can't get it out of your savings account or your checking account, it's not because you don't understand investing or trading. It's because you don't believe in yourself. It's because you're thinking that, hey, I might not see this again. I might not know this is here again. So build that self-image and your money won't be so bored. It's going to have a good time.
Bored money don't make no money. That's pretty much what I get from that. I think it's frustrating a little bit that they tell us, save for a rainy day or put your money in a savings account to get that 0.001%, shout out Merrill Lynch. But like Mike said, it's not even beating inflation. That's backwards. Not only that, but they're selling you the idea that it's safe. Yes, it is. You are safely playing yourself. Congratulations. I'm not saying don't have a savings account. You can have something there because apparently we need a debit card for everything. But I am saying it can be put to work. It can have a good time. Like money is energy, and the more that it moves, the more that it grows, right? You can't grow something out of stagnancy. That's not the way that things work. So, yeah, let's get it moving. All right, number 7, your money is already out there. What do we mean by that? So referring back to our mentor, Bob Proctor, again, his teachings will forever have changed our lives. He said, when somebody says something like, oh, I don't have the money for that. And he would go, what do you need the money for? You haven't even decided yet. What? You see, like once you make a decision, then you need the money. But once you make a decision, you will already figure out a way to get it because it already exists. It is out there. Your money is in the pockets of other people right now. Some of those people are walking around you. Some of those people are in a skyscraper on Chase Building, whatever the case may be. But the money is out there already. Trust. And if not, trust that they will continue to print it because that's what they do. Money is paper. So you need to know you don't need to make more money. Money has already been made. You just need to acquire it. How are you going to acquire it? Well, that's on you. You can trade, you can invest, you can exchange your time for money, you can exchange your labor for money, you can exchange your strengths for money. It's all an exchange, but your money is out there. So there's no need to have that scarcity mindset of, oh, I don't have it. Number 1, make the decision. You don't need the money until you make that decision. And number 2, it already exists. You just got to get it.
Big time. Your money's already out there. You know, people ask all the time, where's it going to come from? You know, where, like, how, you know, like, but it's why, because you're basing your understanding of money based on history, based on past, based on what your parents know, based on what your friends know, based on all the people that maybe don't have it. And so when you ask yourself, okay, well, where is this money going to come from? Well, as Bob Proctor would say, wherever it is right now, wherever it is right now, that's exactly where it's going to come from. It's a circulation. And plus the Fed's going to just print more forever. And, you know, there's always going to be more. Unless you're, you know, in Bitcoin and it's limited supply. But the reality is, look, nothing is created or destroyed. It's already there. It's already there. And the beautiful thing about money and the fact that it is infinite, it is just absolute abundance. So the way that it comes your way is just based on your value. And if it's already out there, so the reason we put this one here is because there's this belief commonly that there's this limitation, and it's not. And even if there was, how would you bring it your way? Because it's already out there. It's not like it needs to be printed anymore. It's already there. All that would happen, it would be exchanged into your hands based on who you are, based on what you can contribute to people. So it's already there. Now it becomes, how do I get it to me? That's the better question. It's not, is it like, where do I get it? How is it possible? You know, there's not enough. You know, hey, like, oh, the rich keep taking our money. No, the rich isn't taking your money. Nope. They're not taking your money. You're not taking your money. It's that simple. It's not that the rich are taking your money. You're not taking your money. Oh, the rich should get taxed more because they make more. You should just work better. You should just be better. It's already there. Gain the skills. Guess what? Everyone has the internet. You're on this call. Gain the skills. Be consistent. Money's already there. It's waiting for you. It's literally waiting for you. It's like, yo, bro, like I'm here. Just, you know, come on, up it. Take me. It's there. Your trading account. Remember, you pay yourself or you don't. It's that simple. You pay yourself or you don't pay yourself. And that's all based on discipline. If we're talking about trading, the market is ready to pay you. Something that the market doesn't pay you, and it's actually challenging your income. It's the opposite. It's trillions of dollars and it's just there. It's like, hey, be consistent, disciplined, follow your risk properly, and then I have money for you because you outdid the most. So it's there for you. People spend money all day, every day. There's so much money going everywhere. Here in Miami, literally like everywhere. There's money like all over the place. It's not going into your hands. Why? Because there's not a reason to. You haven't given the universe a reason to pay you. So let's talk about it, right? Wealth is a measure. Oh, this is a good one. It's not going to be on the screen, so definitely please listen to what I'm about to say. So, oh man, where is this one? This is a longer one, so I gotta find it in my notes.
It was a bar.
I'm gonna be really upset if I can't find this.
Okay. Yeah. Are you guys receiving value? Are you entertained?
Are you entertained? All right. Still haven't found it, but that's okay. So I'm gonna give you guys just some perspective. I'm gonna chop this this quote that I had for you guys, but here it is. All right, so look, guys, money is a denomination of our time. Right? Money is a denomination of our time. What does that mean? It means that every transaction we make is for some percentage of our lives. So our wealth is a measure of how little of our lives we trade for the things that we want. One more time. Our wealth is a measure of how little of our lives we trade for the things that we want. Money is just an exchange of people's time. So ask yourself this question: how much of my life is exchanged by the things that I want? So how much of your life is exchanged by the things that you want? Because every transaction you make is for some percent of your life. Based on how much you're making, that percentage will be higher or less. Based on what you want, that percentage will be higher or less. Will be more or less. So think about it. For example, this is a concept that just, man, it really messed me up when I was starting this journey, because I was looking at how I was spending money. And it wasn't that I was spending anything crazy, but it just gave me perspective. So think about how much you make a week. Let's say it's $500. I think I'm a little better than most people, but $500. And then now let's say that if it's $500 you're making in a week, you get Starbucks 5 times a week. So it's $25, right? So 5% of your life that week was the transaction. So you exchange 5% of your life for Starbucks. You gave Starbucks 5% of your life for that week. When you start looking at it like that, one of two things happen. You start to exchange your money / time differently, or you go get more. Right? You go get more. You find a way to develop, multiply, have more cash flow coming your way so that these things don't have that big of an impact. The reason that people can build their assets are because you realize with more, I can make more. With more, I can multiply more. So by nature, imagine this, right? And I remember this is I think we'll give you guys a perspective on money percentages and this exact topic. So I forgot who it was that we were talking to, but we were on a call and Alex Morton was doing a training and he was saying, hey, yeah, I pay, I think it was like $25,000 a month. I got $25K a month for my spot at wherever. Cool, right? And this person was like $25,000 a month for like a penthouse view. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. And I'm smiling right now because I already knew. I was like, oh, I'm gonna clap you so hard right now. Like you're gonna get got. And they're like, what do you, and I was like, you really think that's super irresponsible? $25K a month? They're like, yeah, that's ridiculous. Why would someone ever spend that much money for a place. I was like, well, can I ask you a couple questions? Like, yeah. All right, cool. So how much do you pay? How much is your like rent or like your mortgage every month? And they're like, oh, well, it's about like $2,000. Lived in like a, suburban home, whatever. It's about $2,000 a month. All right. Okay, cool. $2,000 a month. Awesome. And if you don't mind me asking, how much do you make a month? Usually around $8,000 a month. All right, cool. You make pretty good money. And I'm upping it because he definitely said less, but I'm just giving you an example. $8,000 a month. I'm like, all right, cool. So 25% of your income goes to your rent, right? He's like, yeah, I guess so. I'm like, cool. 25%. Yeah. Okay, awesome. So Alex, he pays $25K a month on his rent. It's more than you pay. But very, very, very conservatively speaking, he's making about $1 million a month. So he's paying 2.5% of his income for rent, and you're paying 25% of income for rent. So who's making bad decisions here? So you're exchanging 25% of your life for this box, but he's only exchanging 2.5% of his life for this box in the sky. So, I mean, maybe he knows what he's doing. So giving you guys perspective, wealth is a measure of how little of our lives we trade for the things that we want. It's not about how much you're paying. It's about how much is that exchanging in percentages to who you are and how your time is being invested. So if you want to live a better life, then find ways of having more cash flow so that you're not sacrificing so much. Next slide.
Oh, I think Warren Buffett said it best. Unless you learn how to make money in your sleep, you will work until the day that you die, because you will never stop needing things. And how do you pay for things with money? So we just got to make better decisions. We just got to be that person that makes money work for us while we sleep, while we shower, while we're up in a plane 30,000 feet above the air. Right? We just need to find ways to make money move, and it will. This really did change my perspective, because I used to be that. It was me he was talking about. I used to spend money on Starbucks. I still do, but things are different now. And it wasn't until I realized, especially in different countries, people are making $5 a day. I spent someone's entire day on a cup of coffee, and I drink 75% of it, and it's mostly sugar. But point being is that when we start to perceive things as the way that they are, because employees do exchange their time for money, right? Like an 8-hour workday, you can do that amount of productive work in probably 3 hours. I say that from experience, because I used to clock in 8 hours, but I was only really working 3, and the rest I was just kind of like there. So we need to shift the way that we think about money. And a movie that Mike put me on is called In Time. It blew my mind. I was like, I was walking myself through it, and I was thinking like, oh my God, imagine if we actually had to pay things with our time. And I was like, wait, hold up. We do pay for things with our time. This movie is literally saying the way that we do things without saying that that's the way that we do things. If Mike wants a Lambo and he's making, let's say that he's making, I don't know, $1 million a month. He wants a Lambo. Okay, that's $300K. I want a Lambo, but I'm making, let's say I'm making 6 figures a year. It would take me 3 years to make that money without spending a dime. It would take Mike significantly less time, maybe like, I don't know, 10%, something like, I'm not good at math here. But you guys see what we're saying is, once you change the perspective of the way that you look at things, the things that you look at change. And then you start to make different decisions. And then you start to tell your friend about them, and it no longer ends with just you. And this is how we actually make an impact in the world, just by shifting somebody's paradigm. And that's what it is that we're doing here. It would be a shame if these 9-10 points that we're sharing with you guys, if it just stayed in our heads, wouldn't it? So when you learn these things and you apply these things, it makes a world of a difference. So just to reiterate, because I think this one's really important. Wealth is a measure of how little of our lives we are trading for the things that we want. Because at this point in time and space, we cannot avoid trading something for what it is that we want, and we cannot avoid wanting things.
I want to add one more thing before you on to the next topic. It's not that, spending the, I don't know, let's just say, for example, let's say you are spending 5 days a week on coffee, and that's $25 or the $50, whatever it might be. It's not the acquisition of coffee that's bad. It's just what's the weight that has in your life? What's the weight that has in the percentage of your money exchange? That's the difference. So, for example, out of convenience, I like to order my food. It's usually pretty healthy, but out of convenience, and because it doesn't have a massive impact in the percentage that I'm exchanging. Even if I'm spending, $100 a day on food, let's say that's the case, right? I am already aware of the percent that has on my total income. And that percentage is so small that it's insignificant to me. I already understand that. It's a conscious decision that I'm cool with buying this or spending this money, investing this for food, because it doesn't bother me. The percentage is insignificant enough where that it's okay. That's awesome. I'm okay with that. Plus, convenience, time, and other things. For example, yesterday, I could have had an argument for $2, about $2. Literally, it was someone, they charged me $2 for some shit that they shouldn't have charged me for. And I could have just had the argument. But in that moment, I'm like, you know what? I don't want to give this person a minute of my life right now. I just don't want to. Cool. Like, I just paid for it. I didn't even say anything. Like, I knew that I could get it, but it would have been an argument. And I'm like, it's not even, these $2 aren't worth my minute right now. Here you go. Cool. Tell me money. So that's just how I'm looking at it. It's based on time, not just money.
What you can do in that time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, number 9. You've probably heard of this before. I hope you have. But your net worth is your net worth. Who you surround yourself with. Yes, we've heard the saying, like, you are the 5 people that you surround yourself with. Kind of, but not really. I believe that those 5 people are a representation of you. Your choices, the good ones, the bad ones, the shady ones, the iffy ones, the good, bad, and the ugly, right? So who you have in your surrounding, that's creating your ambiance. And as human beings, we're actually in control of our environment. We're not a tree. We can walk. We can book a plane ticket and fly somewhere. If you don't like your environment, you can change it. Same thing with your friends. You can't change the people around you. You can change the people around you, because they will start to rub off on you. Personally, I appreciate being the brokest one in the room. I like having the smallest portfolio in the room, because that means I have so much more space to grow. I have so much to learn from these people because they seem to be doing something right. And the best part about it is that we're here. We're literally in that Zoom call. We're literally in that proximity. We're literally in the best space that you can look for. And I'm not just saying that because of a bias that I'm here too. No, look up the Carfax, look up the receipts. Go onto Google and look up the highest influential people in network marketing, the highest influential people in terms of trading and investing, and you'll see that we are in close proximity to them. Matt Rosa, Jason Brown's, multiple M's in NFTs, Alex Morton, David Aminitier, Monica Tapia, Ivan Tapia, Christopher Terry, Isis Delatorre. We are right there. So if they're doing certain things and they're teaching those things to us, they're being completely transparent as to what they've done and what they're doing. They're teaching. And when we do what they do, we will have what they have. Kind of simple how it works out. As you sow, so shall you reap. There can be no other way. So you want to be smart about who it is that you're spending your time with, because they could be costing you more than they're contributing to you. That's important. They can be draining you of your energy. They can be actually influencing you in the wrong direction. So I think what we have here is extremely powerful, because there's not a day that goes by where I'm not pushed to be a better version of myself. Whether it's getting up earlier, whether it's trading New York session, whether it's doing trainings for other people and helping other people, not a day goes by where I'm not influenced to be better, inspired to be better. And yes, part of that comes from myself, but I'm going to give flowers to where I'm going to give credit to where it's deserved. The people around me inspire me every single day.
You know, someone here in the chat said, my teacher told me I'll never be a millionaire because I don't know math, right? And here's something really interesting. It's all about leverage. So your teacher wants to teach you skills. Meanwhile, someone who's acquired wealth will tell you, you don't need to learn that skill. You can just hire someone who has that skill. And that's the difference. That's the difference. So you just need to understand leverage, because you don't need you don't need to be the person with all the skills. You need to be the person that has all the skills in your network, right? That's the person that you want to be. You want to be the person that doesn't have to be the smartest man, the smartest woman. You just need to be the person who has the smartest tools, the smartest resources, the right people in the right places at the right times. So that's just a key thing to understand. And as far as your network goes, when you have the right network, you're constantly being stretched, right? Your mind is constantly being expanded. You're stepping into the unknown more frequently. That's when you have the right network. You know, I do think that, you know, you shouldn't leave everyone behind. Like, that's not what I'm saying either. It's like, it's not, oh, you have less money than me, like you can't be in my network. That's not really the case, because your network doesn't mean that you have to delete everyone. It just has to mean that you have to be selective, right? Because people can give you in different ways. There are people that may have less income, but they have value in other ways and other skills, right? You have just so many different people that may be giving you insight in different fashions. So, you know, this is such a powerful thing. And one of the things that we say all the time is there's the following. It's not that you are the average of the 5 people that are around you. It's that that's who you are. You are that person, and you've attracted those people. So if right now, if you're in the Zoom call, that means you've attracted the 6-figure, the 7-figure earners, the 8-figure earners. If you are in this company, that means that you've positioned yourself, right? Even if it was for a second of motivation, but in that second, you did position yourself to be in an environment where growth, progression, access to freedom and information is your circle, right? You've positioned yourself to be around 8-figure and our CEO, 9-figure earners. That's what you've positioned yourself to do. So it wasn't just that, oh, look, here's my network. They all have, you know, skills and talents and money. It's that, guess what? I'm this person who has attracted these types of people because that's in my proximity. That's what's coming for me. So your network is a forecast. Your network is a forecast to who you can become, because that's what you're attracting. So be aware of what that might be. Because if your network right now isn't something that you're proud of, isn't something that's pushing you, then that's just a forecast of where you're also going. Either you're there or that's where you're going. Yeah, plain and simple.
I also want to add to being selective. I used to be someone that had a lot of friends. And now in hindsight 2020, the smaller my circle got, the bigger everything else that mattered got. Like,
Sheesh.
Everything else started to expand once I started to disqualify people in my surroundings. So don't feel bad about, yes, there's like friendships and you should, you know, text your family and things like that. I'm not saying don't, but I am saying is be selective, professionally selective with the people you invest your time with, because I'd rather have quality people that are stretching me instead of quantity of people that are actually weighing me down.
Well, guys, Nance, I think you're running off here.
Super simple, but what's easy to do is easy not to do. There's an amazing book, and it's called exactly this: Ask and it shall be given. Ask and it is given. There's this 3-step process. It's really easy. Number 1, ask. Number 2, receive. Number 3, allow. When you have a closed fist because you're angry about things, or you feel like punching a wall, or you're sad and you want to curl up into a ball, you're actually closing off the world from giving you the blessings that you've been asking for. So here's what you do. You ask for what it is that you want, and you allow it to come into your life. And what we mean by allowing it to come into your life is you have to be open to receiving, palms out, open to receiving. That means not resisting it. That means not running away from it. That means not hiding from it. A lot of people say that they want success, but they're actually a little bit afraid of it because it's unknown. And remember that our brains want to keep us safe, and our brain's definition of safe is what you currently know. Your comfort zone is your broke zone, because nothing new will grow there. You will continue to perpetuate that which you already have. But when you ask and you allow and you resist the resistance, then things will start to trickle in. And you will start to see that there's an entirely new world that you weren't living only because you were resisting it yourself. So the quantum leap comes in when you actually decide to stop resisting it and start allowing it.
I want to say that, to give you just an example of kind of what, at least how I envision this, and I'll give you different examples just because everyone here is, different. But imagine asking for the phone call. Imagine all you want is that phone call. Actually, I'll give you a good example. Right now, Nance and I applied to get a new place, a new spot out here in Miami, right? We want another one. And cool. We sent our application in and everything like that, all squared up. We're just waiting for a phone call. So we're waiting for this phone call. But imagine that we're waiting for this phone call, and all of a sudden our mindset goes for, cool, we asked to get this phone call, and we start to just think, well, it's probably not going to come anyways, right? This isn't even going to come, so why even bother? So we're telling ourselves that, okay, this is what I wanted, but it's probably not going to happen. So then we don't keep our phone on, right? Or we have it on silent. We have it on do not disturb. So how do you expect to pick up the phone and accept the offer if you already are assuming that it's not going to come? It's not possible. I'll give you guys another example. For those of you that maybe have played sports, if you let's say you're that person who you're asking for the ball, you're waiting for the ball to come to you, hey, throw me the ball, pass me the ball, whatever it might be, and you got so used to, you've convinced yourself that they're never going to give you the ball. So you're still asking for it, but your mindset, your intention is already somewhere else. It's at the fact that they're not going to give it to you. So the fact when the ball does come, you don't catch it because you weren't ready to receive it. And so how many times does that happen? We have to really question and ask ourselves, am I asking to go to my next level in any of my entrepreneurial ventures, but because I've gotten used to not getting it, failing, making mistakes, that I'm already subconsciously expecting to not even get it? So if that's happening, then we need to start to rewire how we believe our ability to receive. So someone asked, how can I help the fear of success? Well, I honestly, I would want to know, if you can type it out, what does that even mean to you? What does the fear of success mean to you? Because I actually don't really know what that means exactly. Like I want to just understand what that means. If you can just type that out real quick. But if I understand this question correctly, it's the fact that you will either have, the money, or you'll have the people in your corner, you'll have the influence, but then you can't live up to it. if that's what I think that's kind of what people mean, where it's like, okay, well, what if I do have, 5 figures or 6 figures or 7 figures? What if I do have 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 people that I'm now, I have this responsibility of? All I can say is God or the universe isn't going to put you in a place that you're not ready for, right? You're never going to be put in something that you're not meant to experience. So even here's the thing. And I'm going to ask you guys, I'm going to give you two things, two options. Would you rather experience momentum, wealth, influence that you've never experienced before, but then catastrophically fail? Like, would you rather experience new levels, new heights, things you've never experienced before, and then completely just absolutely botch it, like fumble, terrible, like you just weren't ready for it? Or would you rather just never, ever, ever experience it at all and never know what it's like, and never even have the option to learn from those, never even have the option to potentially figure it out while you're in this realm of the unknown? Because I would rather reach new heights and figure out how I'm going to get back up than never even get to the height at all. And I think that's that's maybe the main reason that I was able to scale as an entrepreneur, was that I wasn't afraid to experience failure. I leaned into it. It was almost like I challenged myself to lose and fail in the most ways possible in order to then have that experience under my belt. Because look, guys, we experienced some of the biggest momentum in our lives. We went from 1,000 people to over 4,200 people in a matter of like 5 months. And it was like absolutely nothing like anything we've ever experienced. And guess what? Those numbers fell off. The people, not everyone stayed. But we were able to learn how to, we have deficiencies in our system, right? We have deficiencies in certain things and different abilities to help people, evolve and grow. But I'm so glad that I saw these deficiencies, because if we stayed very, 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 very stagnant, if we stayed very slow, then we would never even realize, wow, we have the possibility, we have the potential to 4x our business in a matter of months. And we have the ability to change and grow and adapt, because you can never learn how to adapt to something that you've never experienced. So I would rather experience through failure than to never have a new experience at all. So guys, with that being said, that's it for me. Dive into the unknown. If you're going to fear anything, right? Fear never experiencing it all.